up, guys? This is Lucid, and today we are going to talk about the Uncanny Valley, which a lot of you are probably familiar with if you like the kind of content that we post on this channel, horror stuff and things like that. But if you don't know exactly what it is, it's basically the uneasy feeling you get when you look at something that's almost human. So human, but not quite, or it's human but off in some way. So we're gonna give plenty of examples of this, but first we should talk about how it's kind of imprinted in our genetics to be afraid of this kind of thing. I mean, not everyone's going to be, it's going to bother some people more than others, but the fact that it bothers so many of us is kind of a mystery, because it kind of says, and this is the theory, is that at some point in our evolution as humans, we've had to avoid or run from something that looked like us but wasn't exactly us, and that is why the fear of this is imprinted in our genetics, and is kind of just in us from day one. So that's kind of the mystery, is that what is that thing that made us develop this way, because it had to have had a big enough impact on us for us to, so many of us that have this later in the evolution of humanity. So I know we talked about how it could have been Neanderthals, and
yeah, potentially. I mean, Neanderthals were pretty terrifying from all accounts, and of what we know about them. So it would make sense, and I'm sure they killed people frequently.
Yeah, so that's one theory of the thing, the mystery thing that caused us to be this way. That's the thing, is I don't really know how different Neanderthals would have looked from people, because I kind of got the impression that Neanderthals were just people, but I don't know, behave differently or something.
No, they were built significantly different, a lot stronger, and probably had more stamina. They were physically imposing.
Okay, so more physically capable than just standard humans.
Yeah, by a fair amount from what I understand.
Yeah, so it's a very good possibility. I'd say that that is the thing, that's the reason we are afraid of it today, because we were, at arms with Neanderthals way back then, possibly. But there's no concrete answer to it, but it's an interesting thing to think about. So yeah, I guess we'll get into some of the things we find most disturbing about Uncanny Valley adjacent things. And the first one I'm going to talk about is one that a lot of people probably know about already, and that is, there's a video called I Feel Fantastic. Are you familiar with that?
I believe so, but you have to refresh my memory.
It's the mannequin woman just talking, and she just says, "I feel fantastic," and yeah, it's a really creepy, super old video. It's like a classic horror video.
Yeah, I think so. Man, I didn't want to remember this.
I mean, you're not gonna remember half the things we talk about today. So, but yeah, that was the first thing I've ever seen of Uncanny Valley that really bothered me, and that's a classic one. That creeped out a lot of people. And he said, and I'm pretty sure that who made the robot was saying it wasn't supposed to be creepy at all. It was just a demonstration or something. So I guess that just goes to show not everyone is as affected by the Uncanny Valley as other people.
Yeah, I think it's completely circumstantial, but that just has it's very eerie,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nothing. Honestly, nothing bothers me more than this kind of stuff. I know you don't really play Resident Evil. If anyone's played the DLC for Resident Evil 8 specifically, there's a part where there's a bunch of mannequins following you, and if you look at them, they stop, and if you look away, they move. And that's a trope that's been done plenty of times, right? But Resident Evil 8 did it very well, and it was extremely creepy, because the mannequins just look creepy, and you could see them stop moving when you see them. They don't just instantly stop like a lot of games do it. You could see them in motion and then slowing down when you look at them. So that was the creepiest part in all of Resident Evil for me. That shit was fucking. I didn't like that at all.
Okay. The next example we have is one of the more, common ones, and it's something that most people come across on probably a regular basis. So it is like dolls and puppets and like children's toys and whatnot. I mean, there's a whole horror genre like dedicated to
Yeah,
that pretty much.
yeah, there pretty much is.
So
Have
yeah,
you
like Child's Play.
have you ever seen
Is a
that
really
movie
big
called
one.
The Boy?
It's about a puppet, right?
Yeah, it's a doll. That someone has to like babysit, quote unquote babysit. Like a family's like, hey, can you watch our son? And she's like, yeah, sure. And the parents leave, and they find out their son, quote unquote, is a puppet. So it's weird, but yeah, the dolls have. I think dolls used to be creepier than they are now. So, and I'm thankful for that because back, they have those really old, like porcelain dolls that are very lifelike, and I don't know if they really make those anymore. I think that's how they used to make dolls. But yeah, some people, like some older people collect those and shit like that, and I always find that was creepy. One of my friends from like high school, I went over his house a long time ago. His mom just collected these lifelike porcelain dolls, and I couldn't stop looking at them. Like it was so bothersome. It was honestly bothering me probably more than it should have. Uh, because we were just hanging out, we weren't doing anything with them. They were just sitting there, but there was literally like 20 of them, like on a shelf. So it was like, what the fuck? Like that's, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like dolls, and I have good reasons to not like dolls, considering media kind of makes you not like dolls. Annabelle, The Boy, like I said, um, with Child's Play. There was another one I was thinking. Oh, and there's also
I mean,
Robert the doll. That's real
yeah,
though.
yeah, and that is a terrifying thing. And I mean, look at like Annabelle and the franchise that spun off from, and that's like a doll, even though it's a different kind of doll. Like the actual Annabelle is like a Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, it's completely different in the movies. I mean, the
Which,
concept's creepy
honestly,
regardless.
honestly, I feel like it would have been more terrifying, but it also would have been hilarious if it was a Raggedy Ann doll. That would
Yeah.
be hilarious.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
It would have been. I think it would have made it more of a comedy, but like if they did it really well, and
They
you'd be
could make
like,
it
okay,
creepy.
well, yeah, this feels more real. Like everyone has like those at their house,
Right.
So the idea of it just like acting on its own is just kind of
Yeah,
wild.
that's horrible concept. Not horrible as in bad, horrible as in like disturbing. And yeah, and all the like cursed dolls. I know we're kind of spending a long time on dolls. I'll probably do the next one soon, but
No, I
other
think it's a fair amount. I mean, even look at puppets. Like, even in children's horror, like you think Goosebumps, you think like the puppet.
right.
Like, I mean, it's like an iconic thing. And then you have like Dead Silence. Isn't that
Oh
what
yeah,
that movie's
yeah.
called?
I think it is called Dead Silence. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely some uncanny shit. Those what are those dolls called? The ones that you like
Ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah, yeah. Ventriloquist doll, yeah. I think that's the type of doll that was in that, right? Or was it
Yeah.
just a Okay.
No, it was
Yeah,
It was a puppet.
those freak me out too. I'm not a fan of
Honestly,
those.
Honestly, I think those are just because they like they're meant to have jaws that move,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then like just sitting there looking at one of those things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah,
like
it's
you feel like it's
creepy.
fucking jaws about to move or whatever, and then
Yeah.
like your mind just starts bugging out on you.
So I guess we could do the next example. Let's see. Okay, so there's the next thing we're gonna talk about is like androids slash robots. And so there's plenty of these. They're all over the internet of like, sophisticated robots that look extremely close to being human and stuff like that. But there's one which you probably have heard of called Sophia. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
To a
it's
certain extent, there's a bunch of robots
there
that
is. Yeah,
look
there's a
like
lot of them. But
yeah, that look like humans.
I
So
think Sophia actually has citizenship though. At least I've heard that. I don't. That could be false, but that's what I heard is that Sophia was so sophisticated that it actually has citizenship in wherever that's located. I'm not sure where, but anyway, yeah. I think I put pictures of her on the screen and stuff like that, but I've always been terrified of her, and that goes for any of those robots. They're always creepy, but I always thought Sophia was more uncanny than the rest. I don't even like looking at them, to be honest. It's just, I don't know, it's just very bothersome. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen Alien, but they have these androids that have like white faces, and it's kind of like those things that come to life, like, because back then, obviously back when Alien came out, they didn't have robots talking and shit. They didn't have like sophisticated AI and shit like that. So fast forward 20 years or whatever, and that's literally a reality. Is androids that can walk and
yeah,
talk.
I think the idea of AI in general is kind of like low-key Uncanny Valley. Even though you're not looking at something, the fact that something is able to speak to you and communicate with you,
Oh yeah.
yet it is not a person, but it is able to mimic and act, and almost at a certain point, it's going to be able to act under its own accord. You know?
Yeah, there's definitely an uncanny aspect to that, like element to that for sure. Because I mean, people were freaked out because they thought, what was it? It was Google's AI or something. They thought it achieved sentience, and it didn't. By the way, like misinterpreted, but people were like, oh shit, did this just happen? Like, this is kind of getting kind of creepy. Like, AI is getting a little a little too good and too convincing, and I agree, because like, I mean, those bots talking to you, and that, I mean, they're not programmed, like, they're programmed to talk to you, yes, but they're not reading a script, right? Like, they're coming up with these things on their own, and that in itself is pretty creepy to me.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just like, man, it is anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Because, we have a lot of media where this happens, and it never ends good.
Yeah.
Games and movies
Yeah, pretty much.
and literature, every time it happens, it is from a negative perspective. Like,
Yeah, pretty much every
there's
time.
almost no depictions of technology being good and helpful in the future.
Yeah, that's very
To be
true.
honest with you, there's really not.
All right. So another thing I wanted to talk about was this. I didn't even know this was really a thing until recently, but there was a TikTok trend. I think it was around last year, of people that would just do uncanny makeup, and some of them are really bad and like not done well at all. But I mean, it's TikTok, so of course. But some of them were like genuinely kind of disturbing. I'm gonna put some of that on screen, of course. But yeah, it was a trend of people just trying to look creepy essentially with just makeup, and some of that shit was actually creepy. It's more creepy when you look at something like that from in low light or dim light, or like from far away. Because if I feel like it's creepier if you can't make out all the details, but you can still tell something's off, if that makes sense. And I think that makes that shit way creepier.
Yeah, I did see some of those, and they were kind of creepy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that's cool. People are like pretty amazing with like the makeup art and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that. That's like it really is a skill, for sure.
Okay. The next one is a super old YouTube series, and it was named Shay St. John, and I mean that's one of the more like terrifying things you could stumble
Yeah.
across like just randomly on YouTube.
Yeah, seriously. That it was kind of unhinged, like some of those videos. It was just, and like if you've never watched Shay St. John, it's basically this. I don't even know if I can't even call it a mannequin because I don't think it's a mannequin. It's kind of just like a mask, and like sometimes they'll put like these little stick arms that make it look like he's doing stuff. And it's honestly some of the most terrifying shit I've ever seen. Like it's actually just unhinged. Um, Unfortunately, the person who created Shay St. John died. That I know that's an irrelevant detail, but I heard somehow some people found out he died, and that's why that came to an end, I think. But yeah, it's gonna hurt me to put these videos on screen because I don't want to look at them, but I'm gonna have to. Yeah, terrifying. But some people find it funny. Some people don't think it's scary at all. I've seen some people say like, "Why are people scared of this? This is not scary at all." And yeah, I'm just sitting there like, it's so disturbing. Like,
It's really unnerving. Like it is really unnerving.
yeah, like the face and the mask, like that shit's creepy. And then like the nonsensical stuff that they're doing in those videos, like just doing weird shit. It's so weird. It's so off-putting. I just find it kind of weird that some people don't find it disturbing, but you know, I guess that just goes to show like not everyone's scared of that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I would say it is like terrifying for the most part.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to bring up I find really disturbing is there's this picture. I don't know where this picture came from. I don't know where this originated from, but I've seen it every now and then, and it's just like a mannequin head under a bathroom stall. Like it's from the point of view of someone in a bathroom stall, and there's a mannequin head like peeking under at the person, and it's like, I'm gonna put it on screen. It's one of the creepiest fucking mannequins I've ever seen in my life. It's I don't know what it is about that picture, but it's really off-putting, and I don't know where it came from. And if I saw that, like, rationally speaking, like if I saw that, obviously I know it's a mannequin head, right? But that would still be off-putting, like despite that in reality. I think, because I mean I'd probably fucking kick that thing if I saw that in a bathroom stall.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I absolutely hate that picture. But yeah, we have so many examples of these, but I think you get the point. um, just wanted to go through some of these to see if anyone else kind of agrees and thinks this stuff's very creepy and uncanny like we do. Some of them that's the point, some of them it's not, and I think it's worse when it's not the point. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.